So here we are then, another League Racing episode, and this is the British Grand Prix, my home race in WOR. Round 5 of the season, and if you haven't seen the previous round, number 4, go check it out guys, link in the top right. Before we jump into spoilers, or I'll start talking about spoilers and things that happened before. But anyway, that aside, let's go for a quick recap of what has been going on as you enjoy my first qualifying lap in the background. So last time out we raced at Australia, and that was actually going pretty well. It was one of my better performances of the season so far. You know, we ran in 3rd place for most of the race until the pit stops, and then we went to the hard tyre and things kind of fell apart. But still, for the first time this season we had decent pace and we was competing. Now this weekend we have had a bit of an update, and essentially Tier 1 is on hold for now due to F1 Esports, so we have now become the de facto top split in F2. Also, because of the low attendance, F3 and F2 have merged, so we now have a full grid for this race weekend here for the first time this season. So the level is going up and the competition is fierce, and I done my bit. I put my practice in, I put the work in for this one. Unfortunately this is my best track. I am quite slow here, as for some reason my driving style doesn't suit the circuit too well, and it's just a bit of a problem for me, which I've had for a couple of games now. Nonetheless, we're currently at the end of my first Q1, or qualifying lap should I say, and an improvement straight away this weekend. I was able to get my qualifying done much more efficiently and make no mistakes, have clean runs and get the job done, and you know, get some decent laps in. First lap across the line is a 26.7, not a bad banker to be fair. My personal best is a 0.5 I believe in time trial, or even a low 6, so we're not looking too shabby. And yeah, with our first lap on the board, we're now going to move on to my second attempt, and yeah, hopefully we can find a bit more time. So here we are, making our way into the start of the lap through the final few corners. We've got a decent banker already on the board, so anything, you know, faster than that for me is decent pace. So flat out through turn 1, flat out through turn 2. Spot the braking to turn 3 at the 50 just before, down to 4th gear, stay nice and tight, and then try to get the throttle on a bit to maintain some decent minimum speed. Through turn 4 you want to use the curb, and you know, that way it's going to help you get a nice clean exit as we make our way across the first sector split into Brooklands. We set a 27.3 mid, which isn't too bad for me anyway. Into Luffield, try to keep the car relatively tight, short shift, use all the runoff curb, very important here to get a nice clean exit. Making our way then towards Cops, the old turn 1 of course, at the 50. One downshift with these cars, we're not flat anymore, you have to just take a bit of a lift and a downshift to carry momentum. And now into the S section, Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Nice and tight throughout this entire sequence, all over the curbs, and also on the exit being careful to not run too wide, as we go purple in sector 2 with a pretty strong middle sector. Now though, sector 3 into Stowe, braking and turning in at the same time at the curb on the entry as a reference point. Lost a little bit of time through there as we now make our way into the Vale chicane. Could have attacked the inside curb through the left a bit more. Exit though pretty decent, traction pretty decent, across the line we go, and it's a personal best 126.6, and that moves us back into P7. But now with a minute to go, we are going to get out there for our final attempt. Rain is on the way, but it's not going to arrive in time, so conditions will stay dry, and yeah, we're going to get into it then and hopefully find a bit more time on this lap. I know there's time to find, especially in sector 3. So here we are, the final attempt. Turn 1 and turn 2, flat out, no dramas here. We know what we've got to do. Turn 3 and turn 4, this was great. Nice and tight through 3, keeping that minimum speed. We managed to open up the line a bit more for turn 4, which gives us a better exit, and you can see we're even quicker this time, as we're going to set a low 0.3, which for me is a personal best in the first sector. Even in time trial it's a personal best, so we've nailed it when it matters under pressure. Now though, into Brooklands and Luffield. Again, I know I've got a bit of time everywhere. We have a decent exit and we find a bit more time. We're half a tenth up right now, so this is looking pretty decent. Into Cops though, 50-meter board, downshift, didn't quite get enough inside curb there, but the exit was good and we're going to gain a bit of time as we now head into the S section. Now this can make or break your lap. We're going to carry a decent bit of speed down to 5th, a little bit of understeer kicking in there, and we have to back off the throttle on the exit, which causes us to lose all of our advantage. So we're heading into the last sector pretty much dead even with our personal best. Into slow, 6th gear, trying to get the power down here. Not too shabby, lost a little bit on the exit though, which is a shame, as we know there's more time to find. And then through the chicane, left, right, just clipping the inside curb, and it just upset the balance. And unfortunately, we're going to back off and not improve. So yeah, definitely a lot of small details on that lap in terms of micromanagement and things I could have done better. I feel like overall, up until the S section, we was half a tenth up, and then in the last sector we lost, you know, about 0.3 of a tenth on, you know, compared to our first run. So you could round up to say about 0.8 of a tenth. And then I would say the final chicane, of course, we messed up a little bit. I do believe, looking at these final lap times, P8 was the best we could have done. Top 7 was a bit too fast for me, but definitely an easy 5 if we just clean up the lap a little bit. So yeah, instead P11 for us, not too bad in the 18 car grid. Again, very competitive. You know, it happened last time out in Australia where the entire grid was covered by 3/10. This time you can see the top 13 covered by 3.5 tenths. So a very compact and competitive grid, and pace wise we didn't leave a lot on the table, to be fair, so I'm quite happy that we maximised our pace. But as usual, my race pace is, you know, where it's at, and that's where I usually do better. Qualifying isn't really my strong suit. So let's get into the race, in which we have rain forecast, and let's see what happens. Now, as I mentioned, we have rain forecast, and originally in qualifying the rain was arriving half an hour into the race, and we had heavy rain in the final part. Now though, in the actual race itself, the forecast we've been given here on approximate is dry at the start, and then straight away light rain for the rest of the race. So I'm going to start mediums. I know it sounds stupid, but sometimes the weather forecast can be wrong, and you know, if it is wrong, that is going to really help us out. I feel like we're not going to overheat with this tyre either, and we don't know exactly when the rain is going to arrive. So here we go, the lights are out and we're underway as we get the jump on Daniel Kiedzen straight away in the McLaren. However, Harvey Cohen getting an excellent start in the Red Bull as we go side by side through turns 1 and 2. A little bit of a contact. We're going to find the space though and go all the way around the outside of turn 3. A little bit off track limits there, although I didn't really have anywhere to go, so we get a warning for our troubles. Through turn 4 we get into a traction battle, and Harvey there just turning in a bit too soon, and that is going to cost our exit, and that allows Mark Schluter to get by. Meanwhile, Daniel Kiedzen and left in behind looking for moves, but it looks like Daniel may have had an issue as he's dropped quite a few places back. We're down to P12 though, and we've lost the pace compared to where we started, and now we've got Joned Dovzan, I believe.
Watch the conditions, we think there's rain coming pretty soon, be careful. Okay, dry seem like the best tyre for now.
Currently going down the inside of Cops, and to be fair, pretty clean move, a little bit of contact, but we left the space, and he also gave me room on the exit, so he goes through on the soft tyre, and we're not really going to fight that one too hard. Onto the back straight though, just taking it easy, trying to settle into the race. You can see we've got a few people on mediums. Ideally I'd like to get ahead of Mark if I could, as he's in the same compound as us. But yeah, lap 1 coming to an end here. We've got a bit of battling up ahead, so possible action here. So it's actually 3 abreast, and we've got 2 cars round at the chicane, which moves us into P11. We also have contact with Lefted, who I believe put his nose in at the chicane, but I was so focused on the spinners that I didn't actually notice he had a nose on my inside. Watching it back though, he probably should have backed out as we head on to lap 2. So yeah, we're now P11 and exactly back where we started, so nothing lost, nothing gained after that first lap. And yeah, we're kind of just going to have to regroup and go again. Now the question is, the rain, when is it going to arrive? You know, you heard the radio message a moment ago, about to find out. So tyre temps nicely in the working range at this point, so we can start to push on these tyres a little bit. Meanwhile ahead we've got a bit of battling going on as Mark on the mediums trying to hang on there with Yone behind, and just right there I just saw a droplet of rain, and I think the rain is starting to fall already. I think, yes it is. I can see a few more drops now starting to appear.
We'll be seeing at least 20 minutes of light rain. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So now we're going to see just how heavy the rain is, how intense it is, and will it force us onto a different strategy early or late. The longer the rain arrives, probably the better for us on these tyres. You know, we can go longer, too wide up ahead as everyone's trying to rush to get ahead.
There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
Now, as you can see, just in time, we got the radio call, and I was probably going to pit anyway because I could feel the grip through Stowe was vanishing quite quickly. And on mediums, we're going to, you know, lose tyre temp before those on softs, so I kind of had to take the plunge and come in. So here we are into the pits. We're going to get purple timing on drive-in. Also, we're going to get a clean pull away, no hold-ups, no delays, and we're onto the intermediates. Now then, we'll see how the weather progresses. We get held by the Alpha a little bit in the pits there, as that's not really ideal for time loss. But tyres are already up to temp, so it's just going to be about, you know, getting out on track and getting a feel for the conditions and seeing.
Okay, one stop to go, just one stop left in this strategy.
Where the grip, you know, really is at this stage. So back underway. DRS, I believe, hasn't been officially enabled or disabled. I think the rain came down at the right time. But you can see now, by the end of the lap,
Caution.
the rain has properly started to come down. And yeah, we've got a yellow flag up ahead. I believe Lefted has stayed out accidentally on dries, which means he's in no man's land, so he's going to pull over and get out of the way. So we gain a place, which we already had before then. Through turn 1, we get a warning for track limits as we understeer off the track.
Okay, clear.
Jonah Martin's out the pits though, and I'm going to try and put him under pressure straight away as we go up the inside into turn 4, but he just completely turns in on us there, which I thought was a little bit unfair. Through turn 5, this time he does leave space as we go side by side down to Brooklands, and a bit of contact again as he moves across on the straight. On the brakes though, up the inside, trying to make the move. Yona though on the better outside line, which you can kind of, you know, make work, and we're just going to slide behind and just try to stay tight. We also don't want to give our place to Modesto Mena or anybody else behind for that matter, so we'll fight our battles carefully.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
And you can see me there just checking for damage because of that contact into turn 4. I thought maybe I could have had slight impact damage, which I've had damage for less than that, so it wouldn't have surprised me. Luckily though, we're in one piece, we're intact, and we still have a front wing. So yeah, we're going to crack on now and try and see how the rest of this stint progresses. And we'll see how the weather also affects the race. On to lap 8. Yona off track through Cops as he's pushing after Marcus Towler in the Alpha Tauri. He was struggling for pace a little bit, as I think we was a little bit quicker than him. But without DRS, it's really hard to pass around here. As Yona loses the back end and goes for a spin, that is him out of the race. And that is going to move us into the top 8. So happy days, progress being made compared to where we started and where we was in the first lap. We're now up to 8th place. So good timing on the pit stop. And then of course, you know, having decent pace on the inters as well is helping us. Lap 9, Marcus Towler gets a 3-second penalty for track limits.
Light rain will stay with us for at least 20 minutes, maybe more. Light rain is here to stay.
And there is the weather update.
Okay, the forecast suggests this rain's going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
And literally, as we get another update a few laps later, Marcus Towler is in. And I said before, there was no rain forecast, heavy rain forecast, you know, in the race. But in qualifying, there was heavy rain forecast at the end of the race. And even on the radio, there was the occasional radio where, you know, Elvis was saying heavy rain was on the way. So some drivers took the gamble and chose to pit. So Marcus Towler started it. Greg Dempsey is going to respond now on lap 14. For us though, my plan was to stay out the entire time. The full wets weren't going to be a long time. It was going to be a short phase. So if it does come down quite hard, I'm going to try and drive through it because the Silverstone pit lane is really, really slow. It's the slowest one in the entire calendar, I believe. So I'm going to stay out. It's going to give us some positions, track position, and the conditions should improve towards the end. So if we can just make the tyres last, it's going to work out in our favour. You can see we've got 2 more cars in there with Thomas Harvey and Mark Schluter. So up into P4 now for us as we decide to go long and stay out on the intermediates along with Modesto Mena and Jeffrey Ritchie. So let's see who's right, who's wrong. Will the rain fall? Will it be super heavy? Or will the rain not arrive at all, because lap 21 we're still chilling on the inters and the rain has not picked up. So at this point in time, with 5 laps to go, we're not going to box for wets. We're going to go to the end. Now the problem here is tyre wear. You can see in the bottom right, we're struggling big time, and I'm not alone. Lap 23 onto lap 24, we officially hit puncture territory on the left front with 75%. So 3 laps to go, 3 entire laps to go, and we are in puncture territory on pretty much 3 tyres. The front left, front right, and the rear left. And eventually the right rear will also arrive into that window. Last lap of the race, look at the tyres as we are trying to get the car home. I'm not nursing tyres, I'm pushing flat out, because it's, saving tyres doesn't really do much for you in these conditions. It's a question of luck. Unfortunately, that's how the game goes. Sometimes you can get a puncture at 75%, sometimes you can drive the tyres up to 99 and have no puncture. Last lap of the race though, Harlan Marquis in P3 gets a puncture on the hanger straight. You can see him struggling for grip. I think it's his right front, so he's okay through the right-handers, but it's through the left-handers he's going to struggle. But we are going to go through on the last lap with a massive stroke of luck on the tyres not exploding, and we are going to come through for P3 and the podium in our home Grand Prix here in Silverstone. Our first podium of the season, and what a race to do it in. And I'm very happy about that, because this is not one of my strong circuits, so I'm very happy that we've achieved that result. Up next it's Spa, which also is a bit of a hit and miss circuit for me, but we'll give it our best shot. Either way, first podium, it feels sweet, it's nice to get it for once. And I can tell you, after the race winner, Boulem Fer, I believe, he got a 5-second post-race time penalty for crossing the white line on pit exit. So officially we finish P2 thanks to that penalty. So that was the icing on the cake following that race. So as you can see, there are the results. So Boulem will drop to P4, I believe, and then JS, he's going to pick up the win. We finish in 2nd place. I tried to catch Jay, but just tyre wear was kicking in a bit too much, and also not enough battery to really make the push. But I feel like my pace was a bit better. Modesto Mena from P19 to P3, fantastic drive from him, and then my teammate filling in for Leroy Brown this week in P9. So yeah, there's your lot, guys, and your final results. I'll have the standings up to date, and I'll start showing those from the next episode. Now that we've had a few races and things are kind of starting to fall in place, we've had the grid update with more drivers coming in. We can now show you the results in the next episode. So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. Finally a decent result and a slice of luck coming our way with tyre wear not giving us a puncture. So leave a like if you enjoyed. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. Subscribe for more. We're racing again this Sunday. I'm going to try and get my stream fixed for this one, because I've missed the last 2 and not streamed them because I've been having issues with my OBS software. So link to my Twitch down below. If not, you'll see the video on my channel in a couple of days after Sunday. So yeah, as always, a massive shout out to the members for supporting the content. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and just go back from me.